Hello, my name is John, and this is my first video, well, the first of the many videos I'm going to make for the home oratory. And I would like to talk about how I started this project of building this personal sacred space at home. I've always wanted to have my own prayer space, even way back when I was in the Philippines. I remember I was having all those little statues of the saints, and I usually take them out and put them on a little table during All Saints' Day. My mom used to tell me that she doesn't mind those little statues being taken out, but at the same time, she said she doesn't want me to make it so much that it would look like a church. But in my head, it's like, that's the one I want to achieve. So I said to myself that when I finally have my own place, then probably I can make my own prayer space. By the way, I am not a priest. I am not a seminarian. I'm just a member of the laity. I came to England, that was 2013, to work as a nurse. I'm working as a full-time nurse, and so I came here in England, and when I had my own flat, I decided to make my own prayer corner. It was just a small table with the statue of Our Lady, Saint Peter and Paul, and like a couple of candles. From that point onward, I thought of actually creating a shrine, pretty much the same as the ones I can see back in the Philippines. In the Philippines, we call them retablo. So I've initially patterned it the way that I saw it in the Philippines, and then I changed my mind and then actually shifted to Gothic. I've been amazed with all these cathedrals here in England, which are mostly Gothic. And so I decided to build this Gothic shrine. I've made use of foam boards and glue stick to actually assemble the whole structure. But then everything changed when I visited Rome. I just fell in love with the Eternal City, its history and the architecture and the Baroque art. When I came back from my holiday, on that very first holiday in Rome, I said, I want that for my home altar. I want to switch to that style. Probably some of you won't be happy of what I'm gonna say next, but I tore down that Gothic shrine that I've built out of foam boards and sold off all those small statues. Then I started from the beginning once again. I built an IKEA bookcase, and I've got a carpenter friend who actually built this gradine for me, and I've done all the marble effect, and then I've bought 6 candlesticks, and I've bought the statue of the Madonna. So from that point onward, I just added more elements to it until, as you can see, this is the form it ended up now. The traditional Latin Mass has had a big impact on how I fashioned my home oratory here. I've had the first chance ever to visit the oratory of St. Philip Neri in London, the London Oratory. Immediately I fell in love with that church. That is also the same church where I actually discovered the traditional Latin Mass. I remember attending one of the masses in one of the side chapels in the oratory, and I knew from the beginning that this is not the usual Mass that I know. I grew up with the Novus Ordo Mass, and I never had any idea about the traditional Latin Mass at all. I remember when I first attended that Mass, I realized everything was really different. And especially when the priest said the Confiteor, I thought it will just be the Latin version of the Confiteor that we say in the English Mass. But then when I realized that the priest started saying Saint John the Baptist, Saint Michael the Archangel, Saints Peter and Paul, said, that is not the same Confiteor that we said. And for me, I was just oblivious of everything. To my everlasting shame, whenever I remember that moment, up to this day, I pretty much walked out of the Mass. And then I eventually discovered the Latin Mass when I searched on Google, why Mass in Latin, etc., etc. I started researching more about it, and then eventually I've decided to attend a Latin Mass properly and follow through it. And then I just woke up actually wanting the Latin Mass always. I became a member of the Latin Mass Society of England and Wales, and I've also attended one of their trainings, and I've served as an altar server in the Latin Mass for quite some time. That experience and that sort of, I would say, devotion to the Latin Mass that developed in me became the influence on how I fashioned my home altar. So why did I make this home altar? Why did you make it like so grand and it almost looks like a church? Going to church, apart from the religious impact of it, the religious significance of it, is that it really calms me down when I see a really beautiful church. I could spend hours staring at the paintings and the ornaments, and it calms me down. It's almost like this home altar is my touchstone to the actual churches. Like sometimes if I can't go to church, especially on Sundays, because as a nurse, you don't always have a weekend off. Sometimes I have to work on a Sunday. For all those people who appreciate my work, who have been inspired by this project that I've made, I would like to say thank you. It's nice to see people fashioning their sacred space at home, and almost in the same manner that I have. People started like arranging their 6 candlesticks and a crucifix at the middle. It's beautiful. I'm glad that I'm able to like inspire you, especially at this time where sometimes we undergo lockdown because of COVID. And also I would say that personally it doesn't matter whether you have a grand home altar at home or a very simple one. I think the most important thing is how much effort do we actually put into doing our private devotions. I mean, you may have the grandest home altar ever and you don't pray often. Well, that's not very good, is it? Myself, I'm still struggling with my prayer life despite me having this. Prayer is a discipline that we have to master, really. I'll be posting more videos in the future and I'll tell you more about my home oratory and perhaps do some tutorial on how I made things and show you around here. At the moment I've set up my home altar in its simple form. As you can see here, I've got the portrait of Saint Catherine of Alexandria, whose feast day is coming up. And so I shall see you on my next video. Include me in your prayers. Bye for now.